It's the end of 2024. Can you believe it? It feels like just the other day I was recording my achievements for the end of 2022. It was a scorching hot day here in the land down under, and my car was too hot to record in. So I recorded that audio over the kitchen table whilst no one else was home. The fan was working overtime that day. But now, here I am, 2 years later, recording my accomplishments for the year, yet again. This year has been another good one for me. I stuck to my path, stuck to my plans, and it's resulted in yet another successful year. So, the format of this video will go as follows. I'll talk about my accomplishments in my 5 key stats in the game of life: career, money, aesthetics, investments, brand. And then I'll go over some diary entries of mine which relate to things in life that aren't a part of the grind, as well as some final thoughts. So let's start. What did I achieve with my career this year? Well, a lot. My main job, my 9 to 5 as an accountant, has been going well. I've received more tasks/responsibilities, which is really stacking my resume, and it's making me more important at this role. I've also gone through leadership-specific training at my role too, which is perfect for becoming a finance manager. This leadership-specific training is a specific skill set I can put on my resume, and it's extremely useful since, in accounting, naturally, you're more so the introverted type, so your leadership skills aren't always the best. However, after this training, I have the skills required to become a great leader/manager. The notes from these training sessions are like a cookbook. I may not always need to cook, but when it's time to cook, I have the resources there available to cook. Let him cook. So that's all well and good. Gained an extra year of experience. Now I have 3.
Now I have 3!
No, wait, now I have 4. Excluding my smaller bits of experience I had in the prior years. So, 4 years of experience is pretty good. Worst case scenario, if I lose this job, I have enough experience to not get totally ignored in the labour market. The tasks are also highly transferable to other roles if worse comes to worse, and the extra leadership training is also perfect for progressing in my current role or progressing in my career elsewhere. Something seems missing here though.
It's just something doesn't seem right.
I made great progress in the career stat, but I can't help feel something's missing. Ha, just kidding. Of course I didn't forget about this. My CPA studies. We're done. It's over. At the start of the year, I was on 4 out of 6 exams passed. Welp, fast forward 12 months, we're now at 6 out of 6 exams done. It was a huge-ass grind getting financial reporting sorted. Holy smokes, there was a lot of notes involved in that subject. There was also a lot of time spent on global strategy and leadership too. Spent dozens of hours going through everything for that subject. So, we're done with that. It can't be overstated how huge this is. This CPA license is basically the golden ticket for my career. Every well-paying job requires it, in accounting anyway, and not everyone has it. Not only has my importance and my current role been enhanced with this license, but my labour market value has also drastically increased as well. This is an enormous safety net. The hardest part of my career is, unironically, over. Sounds like a bold claim to make at the age of 28, but in my path, if I moved companies, I'd just be doing what I'm already doing, but with larger numbers. Yeah, the work could get stressful, but it can't be as bad as what was required of the CPA program. Not saying it's a cakewalk from here on out, although it can be if you're in the right accounting roles, but it's not as difficult as working full-time, or in my case, 7 days a week, alongside everything else you do, whilst studying for your CPA. The biggest hurdle has been cleared for my career, that being the CPA qualification, and that was achieved in 2024. What a fantastic year for the career stat. Next stat, money. I had 2 pay raises this year, one that I negotiated/was part of an agreement made more than 12 months prior. The other was due to the Fair Work Commission, which is some government agency here in Australia, mandating a raise to the minimum wage, which means my supermarket job income also went up. I work Monday to Friday in accounting and the weekends at the supermarket for anyone who doesn't know. So at my accounting job, my base salary went from $70,000 to $80,000, and at my supermarket gig, my base hourly rate went from $25.13 per hour to $26.07 per hour. Now, this is the base rate at the supermarket, so my Saturday and Sunday rates are even higher. So Saturday went from $31.41 per hour to $32.59, and Sunday went from $37.70 to $39.11. During this year, I also changed my contract at the wagey gig. I always had 1 hour lunch breaks. However, I didn't realize we could actually change to half-hour lunch breaks. So that's what I did, which earns me an extra $2,000 per year. And it's only slightly extra work, which is fine. I was just sitting around doing nothing else at work anyway during that extended break. I may as well get paid for it and just stack shelves for an extra half an hour per weekend day. So in total, my pay package from both jobs is around $127,000 a year. I had said in past videos it was more like $126,000, but after seeing a bit more data, it's closer to $127,000 than $126,000. Who really cares? But things like staff discounts, extra shifts, and extra shit the office pays for bumps this figure up. So my base pay is around $112,000 per year. This does not include extra benefits or my retirement fund money. I have almost $13,000 from my employers per year that get paid into my retirement fund, and then both of my jobs will pay for extra miscellaneous shit that I'd be paying for myself regardless of whether I work there or not, such as my CPA membership, groceries, and whatnot. Now, at the start of 2023, I had around $100,000 saved. This savings amount peaked in early December at around $171,000. So saving around $70,000 in 1 year, pretty damn good effort, hey? So why aren't my savings currently at around $171,000? Well, I'll tell you in the investment section of this video. My net worth also finished the year around $270,000, which is a video I have uploaded recently. And in total, I earned around $120,000 this year from my 2 jobs. Not all pay slips have come in yet, but the end figure will be around that figure. Probably slightly less, but I'm not waiting for the end of the year pay slip to come out before making this video, so it's close enough to around $120,000 or whatever. So not much else to say. We bumped our employment pay package up to $127,000 in total this year, and we saved around $70,000 as well. 2024 was another good year for the money stat. Next stat, aesthetics. Let's get the boring non-gym stuff out of the way. I had 2 dental appointments. My teeth are fine. My dentist doesn't charge much either. She's great. Hopefully she breaks up with her boyfriend to be with me. Laser. I had a number of laser sessions this year. My clinic moved to a new location, so that's fun, I guess. Fancy place, but the lasers hurt all the same. Botox. Had 3 appointments this year, staving off the wrinkles. It's costly, but the couple $1,000 it costs me per year is well worth it for looking 5+ years younger. Now, the fun stuff, the gym. So, bulked all year, got pretty damn heavy, started getting a lot of compliments in the gym. From dudes, obviously. I remember sitting down resting in between dumbbell flat bench sets, and some dude just comes up to me and says, "Your triceps are fucking huge." Some other younger guy also made a comment about my triceps. My other gym mate said my arms are fucking huge. Some other random gym dude, like I've literally never seen this guy before, comes up to me once and says what I've been doing with my training for the past few months. And I said, calorie surplus and more volume. And he's like, well, it's working, implying I'd gotten way bigger. Big compliment. I was bigger than the compliment though. But again, no clue who this dude was. He was probably some semi-common gym dude, but because he isn't a gym chick, I don't pay much attention to him. Lol. So we started the year around 87 kilos and we peaked at about 95 kilos. Maybe closer to 96. Mind you, this was during my exam hiatus. so there was a lot of extra water weight from all the lollies and lack of gym. Either way, good amount of weight gained. I'm back down to around 90 kilos now at the time of typing. I had intended to keep the bulk going for another year at least, but there's a couple reasons I cut the bulk short. One, my face. Obviously, when you gain weight on a bulk, it fattens your face. However, I noticed a huge difference in my face compared to when I was leaner. I went to take a Snapchat to reply to someone, took a selfie, and I deleted it at first. I'm like, oh wow, I don't look that great here. Let me take another angle. Oh wow, I still look not that great. Then it dawned on me, it's because my face is fat right now. I knew the bulk would impact your face, but damn, it's done some damage. So I knew I'd have to spend some time not being at peak looks, and although reason 2 was a much bigger reason to stop the bulk, I didn't really want to spend 2025 looking not as attractive as I could be. Now, this reason will be elaborated on much more in some upcoming videos, but I am more than likely going to be putting myself out there for 2025, since I think it's prime time to be putting myself out there. If I bulked for another 2 years, I'll be 30 plus years old before being out there. And yeah, I'd have a massive chunk of muscle, but up to a point, it really doesn't matter that much. I think I'd regret not being out there more in my late 20s as opposed to having an extra inch on my biceps. Outside the bodybuilding world, no one really gives a shit about a couple of extra inches on your arms. As long as you're aesthetic enough, you're good enough. Not worth the extra sacrifice in my life for the sake of being slightly bigger. You'll note there's been a change of tone in my attitude towards the grind in recent videos. Again, it will be elaborated on in a future video. I'll still be grinding the 5 key stats, make no mistake, but I'll be doing more social shit. Admittedly, this may be because since my CPA is done, the shackles have been released. This frees up so much extra time now. All my CPA study time can be spent doing more social shit without any sacrifice in my YouTube/stocks/money/career goals. But again, I'll give you the full spiel at a later date. Now, depending on how this cut goes, I could already be pretty close to my peak goal physique. I'm aware you look way bigger when you're leaner, so it just depends on how much leaner I get and what I look like. So, I'll give a quick illustration on what I mean in terms of being big enough and not sacrificing some social stuff / spending more time being fat for the sake of more size at the detriment of my appearance for social stuff in my late 20s. I was going to save this stuff for a future video I have planned. It'll be about how to actually look smacks to attract women, but I'll give you a little freebie now. Look at these images. This is some dude, I don't know who he is, but he's flexing, right? Obviously. Now, yeah, he clearly goes to the gym, but he's not that big. Now, look at the top 2 comments. They're both from women. Heaps of people agree, and these comments are clearly thirsting over him. Even the other comments, chicks tagging their friends thirsting over this dude. So his bicep size is clearly enough for the ladies to be attracted to. A counter argument could be, well, they just like his face / appearance overall, and they'd also like / prefer bigger biceps. Well, if that's the case, then bigger biceps wouldn't make up for your face / the rest of your appearance in that case. Bigger biceps could help this dude, but he doesn't need it. If that's the argument you want to make. Next example, Bold Omni-Man, one of the noble natties, as far as I'm aware. So, he's way bigger. Fucking huge, right? Yep, he is. But what are the comments on his post? Check them out for yourself. But there are 0 chicks thirsting over him. Yeah, being huge is probably his passion and how he makes his income, but in most cases, you guys aren't being paid to be fit. So, it's hard to crack into the fitness influencer space since it's so saturated. Any high school dude with nothing better to do can just spam gym for 3 years, and boom, now he has a physique that can compete on social media. But money aside, most dudes want to be fit to be more attractive to a prospective partner. Think about it. You like a chick with a nice ass more than a chick with no ass, correct? So in this sense, the idea of you going to the gym is to be more physically appealing to women. Recall the comments I showed earlier on the dude who wasn't even that big. Another example is this dude. I don't know who he is, but he looks good for his age. This will tie into a future video I'll make. Do men really age better? Do men really get better as they age? Or something like that. But anyway, this dude does look good, but he's not that big. He is just super lean. But the comments don't care. The chicks are thirsting over him. They don't give a shit that his arms aren't 18 inches. So the point is this. I could spend more time in a surplus, spend my remaining years in my 20s and probably early 30s as a balloon, then shed all that weight off later. Then I'll end up with arms that are an extra inch bigger. Cool. Now what? Well, my goal isn't to become a bodybuilder or be the biggest person out there. My genetics aren't suited for that regardless. My goal is simply aesthetics. I've mentioned it before, but the idea is to be aesthetic enough to get a fitness sponsorship. Your average beach body looks good to women, but not good enough to get fitness sponsorships. Guys like Bold Omni-Man are fit enough to get fitness sponsorships, but it's a little too much for the female gaze. Guys like David Lade and Maxwell Cross are a nice middle ground. Pretty crazy how these guys are considered middle ground, but clearly they are more than beach bodies, but they're less than the mass monsters. My goal is a physique that's similar to this. So I'll see where I end up at the end of my cut. Maybe I could guarantee a physique like this if I stuck to another year or two of solid bulking, then cut down, but it'd cost me some critical social years of my life, which will be explained in a future video. So in the instance of Bold Omni-Man, for example, if your goal was women, spending so much time honed in on the gym is not the best way to get women. Your best method would be to cut back on gym, don't ditch it entirely, but instead of spending 15 hours a week at the gym, spend 8 to 10. Use that extra time to work/earn money, then use that money on a hair transplant. I'm not joking. I guarantee you having more hair and less muscle would work better for attracting women, as opposed to more muscle and less hair. But I'll talk more on that point in a separate video. Probably in the How to Look Smacks for Women video. That might be the video I mentioned this in. In some cases, dudes can look good bald. I am not one of them. My hair carries hard. The Aussie/British/Dutch side of my family, my dad's side, all went bald early-ish. One of my uncles, at the least, has really thinning hair. He's not bald, but he's thinning. The rest of the males in the family are bald. The Filipino/Chinese/Spanish side of my family, my mum's side, the dudes all have hair. So I got the hair from them, thank fuck. I do use minoxidil, but I'm not sure if that's worked or if I'd still have a relatively intact hairline regardless. Oh well, minoxidil is cheap. I spent $170 at the end of 2022 on 4 cans. I'm almost running out now at the end of 2024. And I bought more the other day and they were half price for some reason. The cost went up to $190, but it cost me $95. Oh well, either way, totally worth it. Better than not spending that money, going bald, realizing minoxidil was saving me, not my genetics, then spending several thousands of dollars on a hair transplant later. So, long tangent, I have more to say, but it'll be in its own separate video. My point is, yes, I might be sacrificing some size by cutting now. I mean, I could always just go back to bulking later, but I guess my test levels are at their highest now than they will be in the coming years as I age. But the size I'd be sacrificing isn't really a huge loss, since whether my arms are 16.5 inches or 17.5 inches, it'll be irrelevant. I'd be appealing enough to women, and I'd imagine I'd be aesthetic enough to get fitness sponsorships regardless of that extra inch in my arms. Okay, so back to the point. I made some good gains this year, built some solid size, created a good foundation to work off going forward. Like I mentioned before, depends on what gets revealed after this cut, but I could be basically done with my aesthetics goals if I gained as much muscle as I think I have, and if I look how I think I'll look, but I won't know until I'm 10% body fat. I also managed to keep part of my youthful looks. There are some lines starting to form under my eyes lately. Not sure if they were always there or if they're recent, but I've noticed them lately. But it's fine, I still look fairly young. Some dude at the gym earlier this year when I was 27, I'm 28 now, but earlier in the year I was 27. He was asking me some questions and naturally, one of them was, "How old are you?" I asked him to guess and he said 21. Flattering. But nope, I was 27 at the time. Another instance, I was at a party, the night that changed it all, the other Saturday night, and I was talking to my friend's sister. She's 19, I'm fairly sure, and her friend slash cousin slash someone she knew comes up to her. They have a couple of sentences of dialogue, and then I'm still staying there, because she kind of rudely interrupted our conversation. And then this friend points at me and then points to her. She didn't say anything, but it was clearly implying, "Are you two dating?" And she's like, "No, he's friends with the birthday girl." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know the birthday girl from ages ago." So what does this have to do with anything? Well, if 19-year-old girl's friend thought that 28-year-old me and her were dating, then clearly other girl thinks I look young. Like, yeah, you do have couples with that kind of age gap, but obviously if I looked 40, then she wouldn't have thought that at first. She would have assumed I'm like an uncle or some shit. Another shift I did at my wagey job, this new girl was working one of her first shifts, and we make small talk, as you do. Naturally, how long I've been here comes up. I tell her 12 years, and she goes, "Wait, how old are you?" And I say I'm 28. And she goes, "Wow, I would have guessed 22 max." So the general consensus is I look young, specifically early 20s. That's never an insult. At least I don't think it is. I'd much rather be told I look 21 years old than being told I look 35. Funny because those two ages are just as far apart from me as a 28-year-old. So we managed to maintain our youthful appearance, despite all the stresses and the grind involved in this year. I do have a skincare routine which involves some generic supermarket face wash and moisturizer, as well as eating pretty healthy, but I don't know if it's that or the fact that I'm part Asian that keeps me looking young. Either way, face wash and moisturizer sponsors, you hearing this? I've got a wide open spot in my routine for a sponsored product like yours. Although I guess Dr. Squatch is busy with Sydney Sweeney lately. They are such good marketers. That video of her in the bathtub had me barking like a dog. I was barking like a dog.
He was choking like a dog. He was choking. He was choking like a dog.
Hello, you dirty little boys. Are you interested in my body? Wash? Well, you can't have it. Because this isn't for boys, it's for men. This is Dr. Squatch Natural Body Wash. With long-lasting natural aromas like wood barrel bourbon, pine tar, coconut castaway, and fresh falls, you'll finally get the attention you deserve. So go to drsquatch.com today and quit being a dirty little boy.
Sorry. Anyway, to recap, we had a good year in the aesthetic stat. Kept up with my dental, laser, and Botox routine, built a solid foundation of muscle that might very well have sealed the deal for my aesthetics goals. Obviously, I'd still go to the gym and whatnot, even if I did hit it, but at least being on that level is a nice box to tick. And we've managed to not age terribly despite working 7 days a week on average, passing 2 exams, lots of gym sessions, lots of YouTube videos and growth, lots of stock stuff, and some hectic real estate/land stuff, progress in my job, etc. Not bad, you'll take that for sure. Next stat, investments, another big one, but let's get the quick stuff out of the way. I kept learning the markets, kept listening to info, practicing swing trades, etc. this year, so that's all that needs to be said there. So we started officially charting and stuff this year. I never charted in the past, which sounds dumb for a guy sussing investments a lot, but my spare time was spent on YouTube and CPA study, and I didn't want to pay for a TradingView subscription either, since I knew I wasn't going to use it much. But this year I had some spare money, had some spare time, since I found a way more efficient way to edit my videos much faster, so I had time to chart stuff. Found some really good indicators too that seem to work. Most notably of which is my secret weapon. No doubt these tools will prove to be very useful in the coming years. Now, the big investment. Real estate. We secured the loan for my portion of land. Sounds pretty straightforward? Well, it's not. Heaps of back and forth paperwork, shuffling money, making sure you have enough, ensuring the documents are correct so you don't legally get screwed over later. All of that hassle, it's over. I'll still have hassle with my actual house loan, but my land loan has now been officially sorted. So that's one huge milestone achieved. Still got the house itself to go, but at least the land is sorted, and we've finished that first big step. I also secured my home builder this year too. I almost forgot that happened this year. My friend and I went house hunting earlier in 2024, but it still happened this year regardless. So all that work in the first month and a bit of this year, spent house hunting, paid off. Since I found the best deal I could get, relatively cheap, and builds the house I need/want. Yet another good investment decision since a different home builder and a few months difference in the timing of signing my contract literally means this house could have cost me $50,000 extra. I mentioned this in other vids, but if I signed my contract prior to May 2024, I dodged some extra legal requirements that would have cost me an extra $20,000 to $30,000 on my house. And this particular home builder did my home, but cheaper than others. So some savvy decisions with my home building plan literally saved me $50,000. These are the kind of behind the scenes decisions that you don't see show up in someone's salary or someone's net worth, but they make a huge difference. So to wrap up the investor stat, another huge year of progress. More practice in trading, more market knowledge. We started charting, found great indicators, and we took the first critical steps in finding a home builder, as well as obviously securing the land. Last stat in focus for this video, the brand stat. Yet another stat in the game of life that's had some solid progress. We started this year around 976 subscribers from memory, and now we've gained basically another 900 on top of that. Huge for the program. We also became a YouTube partner. That requires 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours of watch time in the past 365 days. And then we became ad monetized, which requires 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of recent watch time. Huge goal, huge milestone achieved. It feels like a normal day in the life now, but it's actually wicked to think that I remember I came up with some kooky idea that I had years ago of starting my own channel, just yapping about my knowledge and experience on a wide range of topics, uploading random videos for months with literally no views. And now, here I am, a YouTube partner, and I did this whilst YouTube was a casual hobby for me. I managed to fit this around the rest of my schedule. Absolutely wild. Thank you everyone for sticking around and listening to what I have to say. I can only hope the time you're spending on my channel is worth it for you, and you're getting an exponential amount of value back on your time. We also changed the logo this year. Felt like it needed a change. I'm pretty happy with how this looks. I feel it encapsulates the brand much better. So depending on when I officially make this video, the stats will change. The views, hours of watch time, etc. aren't super important, but I will mention the revenue. At the time of this script, the channel has generated roughly $180 in revenue this year. Pretty good considering, again, it's a casual hobby really. But if you're a YouTube hater who hates seeing content creators make money, you'll be happy to know that I've spent well over $1,000 on random shit for this channel this year alone, let alone the prior years where I was making no money. Not to mention all the time I spent on this channel. I talked about it in my YouTube monetization video, but a much better use of my time would just be to go and work an extra job if my sole purpose was just making money. The money I earned this year alone on YouTube, I could have made in a couple of night shifts at my wagey job. Obviously, this doesn't take into account the costs/expenses/investments that went into this channel. So hopefully we manage to turn a profit for next year. I'm doubtful, but hey, we'll see how we go. I don't have a sub count goal or anything to hit since that'll happen organically, but it would be nice to see some exponential growth. Hitting 5,000 subscribers will be wild. It could be possible with my new video series, Is Dating Worth It? That could strike the algorithm, but it depends on how my opinions on dating are received. But either way, the Brandstat had a fantastic year, basically doubling the sub count, becoming a YouTube partner, and becoming ad monetized. Considering everything else I achieved in my life, I'll 100% take this for sure. Okay, so let's go over some noteworthy events in my diary. We won't go through the entire thing since a lot of it is had work, had gym, did YouTube stuff, studied, etc. But check this out. We started the year strong, had a long ass sleep, kinda odd since usually I end up working New Year's Day, but I guess they found someone cheaper / the managers didn't take that day off, so there was no need to have me there that day. Was kinda good because I was out late-ish for that New Year's. It was a pretty shit night, to be honest. My mate and I just hung around our local city. It was packed. We had to walk like 30 minutes back to where I parked because we couldn't get a park anywhere near close to the action. And we were so tired, like we could have fell asleep at like 12:10 a.m. But yet I had a 30-minute walk back to my car, let alone dropping him back off to his house, let alone driving the 30-ish minutes back to my parents' place. Was, pretty average night. Honestly, would have been better sitting at home. But as you can see, this day I did some meal prep and did some work on my YouTube brand. Unlike many others, I didn't start off 2024 hungover. Check this entry, the 3rd. I was meant to hang out with this girl I had a thing with / went on some dates with years ago. She moved to Queensland years ago for uni and she was down. We were going to hang out, but she sustained some injury during that day. She rescheduled for the day after, but I literally couldn't be fucked, to be honest. Because her injury sorta kinda sounded like an excuse not to hang out. Like she did reschedule, but I'm kinda like, okay, well if you're not really keen on hanging out, then why bother, right? Maybe I'll reach out and see if she's around this year. I don't know, we'll see. I think she might actually already be down based on her Instagram stories, but I kinda can't be fucked, to be honest. On the 5th of Jan, my boss first had a chat to me about this leadership training. I thought this happened later in the year, but clearly not. Crazy how time flies. The 6th of Feb, we finally hit the 1,000 sub mark, although I was asleep and missed the exact 1,000 milestone. Oh, here's an interesting diary entry. 2nd of March, had a shit sleep, but here I was stressed about my study, my YouTube partnership program application, since at this time it was pending, and I was worried I wouldn't get it since I let my mouth run too much on this channel. There isn't much of a filter applied with my thoughts, so I thought it could get me into trouble. And then to top it off, I was worried about my real estate plan falling through. Now, fast forward to the end of the year, studies are done, YouTube partnership had no issues, and no issues with real estate either, so far. I am somewhat an overthinker, but usually things work out in the end. Here is a hat trick, 20th to the 22nd of March. A three-peat of nights of shit sleep. I was so mad. My grind and progress in the game of life is only doable due to being relatively well rested. None of this 3 nights in a row of bad sleep shit. Anyway, look, I've been going through this diary for a while and there's nothing super noteworthy really. A bunch of stuff happened this year. From the top of my head, my manager at my wagey job left, so we got a new one. There was another redundancy at my office job. My gym crush, former gym crush, started dating a black guy, and as an Asian, I simply can't compete with that. A handful of friendships drifted further apart, like I just noticed we talk less and less. I don't know, look, a bunch of stuff happened this year, but most noteworthy, it was a very productive year for my 5 key stats in the game of life. So, wow. What a year, hey? 5 key areas to focus on in the game of life, and all made noteworthy progress. My career stacked another year of experience, which, if you're on the job hunt, you know that the first 5 years of experience are usually your most critical. So we stacked another year within that first 5. I also finished my CPA studies, which means my studies are finally over with. Not to mention that it's insane for my job security, as well as raising my market value in the labour market. This also doesn't consider really high-paying jobs in Melbourne. Having the CPA is basically the most difficult requirement that they have, and it's done. There were also extra bits and bobs like leadership training, Excel training, and learning more general routine tasks in my role. Needless to say, huge progress was made this year for the career stat. The money stat received 2 pay raises from both of my jobs, saved more than $1,500 of my grocery bill this year due to bulk buying items that were on special and using my staff discount. Made almost $120,000 in total this year. I'm yet to receive the final pay slips, but it'll definitely be close to around $120,000. So maybe me earning $127,000 a year in total is wrong. Maybe it's more, because this $120,000 figure here includes the first half of the year when I was on less money. We also managed to save a lot of money. I had about $104,000 in savings at the start of the year. We topped out at around $171,000 before my land down payment was made. Pretty damn good, considering all of my other expenses and whatnot during this year. So, once again, needless to say, another stat in the game of life that's had some massive progress. My career and money stat are sorta intertwined now, but if you're a uni student, like I once was, a lot of career stat upgrades you make, such as unpaid internships, job interview practice, studying, assignments, etc., don't make you money. But my full-time job is not only a career stat increase, but also a money stat increase. So if you work a job that's in your desired career field, then you're increasing 2 stats at once. Aesthetic stat, base diet stayed the same, it has no reason to change, but we packed on some solid size this year. Was a great year of bulking. The cut is going to go crazy. We had a pretty bad injury on my spine back in March. I actually forgot about that since my spine is fine now. I have a niggling left forearm injury due to going too heavy on the rope upright rows, but other than that, only positives. Although I did only have around 152 gym sessions for this year. Not sure at this stage since this script is being made before the Christmas rush, and I'm probably going to have some extra shifts at the Wagey job which will interfere with gym time, but 152 sessions is kinda low. Didn't realize it was so low. But the missed gym sessions were for social events or exam study, which paid off big time. I'll gladly ditch 20 to 30 gym sessions in order to pass 2 exams and finish my CPA studies. And considering I was only at the gym for half the year, 365 days in the year, only 152-ish sessions, really not that many, and yet we made some pretty epic gains. Another stat in the game of life that had huge progress this year. The investor stat, another year of learning stock market information, much the same way I gained another year of career experience, but in terms of more tangible progress, we started charting and we also found some great indicators that will prove extremely useful for swing trading down the track. My home loan, or specifically land loan, was also established. It's been a long time coming. I also secured a home builder, which I didn't have at the start of the year. Your first house is the hardest. In many cases, people don't pursue the landlord/property investment path anyway, so the first house is their only house. And in terms of this, I got the land sorted, one half of the puzzle, in 2024. The investor stat, just like the other 3, had huge progress in 2024. The last key stat in the game of life, the brand stat, we hit the 1,000 subscriber milestone. We became a YouTube partner, and we became ad monetized. The monetization goal is a huge achievement for many aspiring content creators, and we managed to hit that in the year of 2024. Once again, another stat had huge progress in the year of 2024. What a year. My best one yet. I am so keen to see what I can get accomplished in 2025. How did your 2024 go? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. That is all.